Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Goober Brothers Entertainment. My name is Cody, and today we're going to talk about Rian Johnson getting booted from Star Wars. Oh man, I think it's kind of funny because Rian Johnson likes to talk a lot of smack on Twitter and online about how the fans are. The fans are just so bad, and they're the worst things ever, and they're just racist, misogynist man babies, and um, well, it takes a man baby to know one because. Rian Johnson, you clipped the balls off of Luke Skywalker, buddy. So, congratulations to that. And you've also treated Carrie Fisher like an asshole. Because I think I remember seeing an interview where she said, Rian Johnson, oh, he's an asshole. And she wasn't playing around. I mean, it wasn't sarcasm. Seemed like she was for real. But whatever. Today we're gonna be on Cineblend or Cineblend. Ugh. It's too early for me right now. A little down, you know, little got some sinus issues, a little sick. But show's going on. So Star Wars, what's coming up on the big screen post Rise of Skywalker? So I remember was this earlier this year? I think Bob Iger was talking about how um Disney was going to be taking a hiatus with Star Wars and everything, and then, oh wow, look, let's announce like fucking 8 more projects. So, doesn't seem like he really stuck with his word, but he said they're gonna be on hiatus, and they're gonna be after Rise of Skywalker, no more anything else. And then it's like, oh, the Mandalorian's going to be coming out too. Oh, look, an Obi-Wan series. Oh, a bit DB and Benioff and Weiss or whatever you call them. Trilogy. Oh, a Rian Johnson trilogy. Oh, this and that and this and that. Obi-Wan trilogy. Oh my god. And well, I think they're panicking a little bit because this movie is projected to not make that much money. It's still going to make money. I know. A lot of people are still going to see it because they're not the most of the money it's going to make is from people who aren't in the Star Wars as much as me or anybody else that is in the fandom menace or anybody else that's just a really diehard Star Wars fan that doesn't really want to put up with all this BS that Disney is spewing out to us. I'm not buying it, and a lot of people aren't either. Um, so in the article, it says in a little over a month, the Skywalker saga in a 40-plus year journey that began in 1977 with Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, will officially come to an end with J.J. Abrams' Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. After that, well, we don't really know what will happen after that. For the first time in a long time, we don't know what the next theatrical feature film set in a galaxy far, far away will be. And rightfully so, because I think that's what we do need is a break from Star Wars. And now I didn't really plan on seeing Rise of Skywalker. My buddy's buying me a ticket. So, I'm going to go see it. So, I'm going to be drinking a lot that night. But, anyways, I don't look forward to anything Star Wars. I'm going to. I'm gonna try The Mandalorian. I want to see what they're doing with it. I don't see it, doing too well, but I don't know. I think they may get people hooked. I'm not sure, but oh well. Let's see. So, still up until recently, we thought we knew what was next on the docket. Back in May, Disney CEO Bob Iger confirmed that the previously announced project from Game of Thrones creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss would be the next theatrical Star Wars release after The Rise of Skywalker, set to arrive in December of 2022. That isn't happening anymore, though. Thank God. The duo and Lucasfilm, as has long since become commonplace, have parted ways, leaving Star Wars theatrical future a mystery. Um, I've been hearing rumors about them just strictly going TV and just putting Star Wars stuff on the Disney Plus streaming service. Um, I've also heard other rumors of, you know, the Rian Johnson trilogy, and obviously this David Benioff and Weiss thing isn't happening, and that news has been out for what, a couple weeks now, maybe. Um, and that's good. I mean, we don't need anybody else bastardizing Star Wars, but it's Disney. It's Kathleen Kennedy ran Lucasfilm. She's running the show. So they're going to be bastardizing the franchise from here on out, from 2012 through on. And we also don't forget there is the continuation, the last official season of the Clone Wars, and they will be showing that on Disney Plus. And they're taking that off of Netflix. It might already be off of Netflix if I'm correct. I have it on DVD, so yeah. So I can watch it whenever I want and not have to worry about paying Disney any more money for a streaming service that I don't really need. Because if I really want to watch anything that's going to be on Disney, I can just go buy the Blu-ray or DVD, or I can just find it somewhere else, really. So, sorry, I'm texting right now. um, so this franchise isn't going anywhere, and the next few years will give us plenty of Star Wars content on the small screen via Disney Plus, like I just mentioned. But this property is inherently theatrical, and we want to know what's coming up on the big screen post Rise of Skywalker. Impossible to see the future is, but we're going to search our feelings and make a few. Oh my god, I'm freaking trying to quote Star Wars. Make a few logical guesses based on the stuff in development previously announced, with a few wild cards thrown in for fun. Um, Listen, Cineblend, and anybody that is just really, really wanting to see these new movies, this isn't Star Wars. It's fake Star Wars. It's fake news. It's very fake Star Wars. Um, the origins of the Jedi. I heard a rumor before, and I'm about to read it, but the Game of Thrones guys were going to do the origins of the Jedi trilogy. So what is there to do, really? I mean, the Last Jedi and Rian Johnson, they completely ruined the the point of the Jedi. Really, there was no point anymore, because they basically, in this movie, they made them look like, oh, the Jedi were pieces of shit, and they're the reason why the galaxy is in such shambles and blah blah blah. And it's not true. It's not it's not the Jedi's fault. It's everyone's fault for the galaxy going into shambles, for the Emperor taking over, yada yada yada. Um, and they just made Jedi look completely useless. Like, oh, the Jedi were just they're terrible from the get go, and therefore Luke's not going to follow the Jedi path anymore, which is complete bullshit. And that's not the character of Luke Skywalker. So the origins of the Jedi. So weirdly, we didn't find out what Game of Thrones showrunners David Benioff and DB Weiss were working on until after they were no longer working on it. The duo, who seemingly left Star Wars due to a combination of toxic. See, this is bullshit, because it's not toxic fandom. It's fans who love this shit, including me, and they don't want to see it be shit on again and again and again and again. You have a shitty Last Jedi movie. You have a shitty Force Awakens movie. Rogue One was cool. I still don't buy it, though, as canon, because it's not George Lucas made, but it was better than the other ones. And he had a shitty Solo movie, who yet I have yet to see. I've only seen, I have seen reviews, scene by scene reviews of it, and it's not something I want to watch. It's not. It looks fucking stupid, and there's no point in it either. I mean, it. Oh my god. Star Wars, due to a combination of toxic fandom, their Netflix deal, and creative differences, we're going to explore how the Jedi came to exist. It's a fascinating idea in a time period we've never seen explored in a Star Wars movie. And just because Benioff and Weiss are gone doesn't mean this movie can't happen. It should not happen, because you're going to ruin. I mean, you've already ruined it. So you know what? Fuck it. Go ahead. Go ahead and ruin Star Wars even more. See how it goes. Bunch of freaking non-creative people in this damn company, I swear. It's crazy. I mean, you figured that, the Jedi were going to be the biggest thing to make you money, and considering Disney's all about magic and all that, and they don't wanna, they still just they don't wanna use the Jedi to their advantage and make cool shit. Instead, they're gonna be like, "Oh, Jedi, you're dumb, huh?" And then now they're gonna make Rey the most powerful Jedi ever, and, she's just gonna be super OP, and if the leaks are true, which apparently they are, I mean, we've seen pictures already of Rey and Kylo Ren standing side by side, both with blue lightsabers, ready to fight Emperor Palpatine. It's crazy, man. It's really crazy. It's it's crazy how they can't keep things under wraps to save their life, and I mean, they do everything possible they can to keep stuff secret, and it's not secret. So, oh well, sip of coffee. So, um, and we don't know if Lucasfilm's still interested in telling this story, or if it was only interested because D&D were there. Uh, what we do know is that this was theoretically going to be the next Star Wars movie and the start of a trilogy. And hey, maybe it still could be. The concept is a valid one, and for many, even more exciting now that the maligned showrunners are gone. If that 2022 release date holds, there are still 3 years to make a movie about the origins of the Jedi. Again, they shouldn't because it's ruined. I mean, they clearly don't care enough about the Jedi. They clearly care about only Rey. And the only reason they're doing the Clone Wars thing is because they want to make money. And the thing is, I trust Dave Filoni, but he needs George Lucas's guidance, and he doesn't have it. And Disney is going to be pushing an agenda with this next series, the next season of the Clone Wars. I guarantee it, and they're going to make it stupid as hell. And they're going to go off stories based on um, the post Disney acquisition um, novels and stories and stuff. So it's not even going to be about a George Lucas story. It's going to be mainly a Disney written story. And I'm sure they're going to bastardize these characters as well. They're going to make Anakin look worse than he did in the prior seasons and in the movies. And they're going to make Obi-Wan a cuck, probably. I mean, you never know. I mean, I think they might. I mean, they're already on a strong path here, so it's possible. It is possible, and I think more than likely it's just going to be just a it's going to be a shit show. So this project was already being developed, so it's entirely possible that this is still a realistic possibility for the next theatrical Star Wars movie. Benioff and Weiss are gone, but there's no need to throw the baby out of the bathwater. Lucasfilm just needs to find some exciting talent to take over. They're bad at doing that as well. And Kathleen Kennedy, I've mentioned this before, and I still stand by it. If you take the role of somebody who was not just the CEO, but also the lead creative, you need to do the exact same thing. You can't hire people to create stuff that somebody else was already creating. You can't do it. George Lucas had that touch. It's his baby basically. It's Star Wars is his creation, and you can't have somebody create something for somebody who already has something in mind that originally made it. If that does that make sense? I mean, to anybody listening, does this make sense? Like if you're gonna take the lead creative and CEO, you know, position of this company, you need to be creative yourself. And Kathleen Kennedy is not at all creative. Like it, I can't stress enough at how important it is to be, you know, creative and a leader, like George Lucas is, like J.K. Rowling is. Um, Kevin Feige, you're uh, see, I like the MCU. I liked everything up until Endgame, except for Captain Marvel and the two Spider-Man movies. Everything else was good. Everything else I liked. Some movies more than others, but I liked them all. But the whole Captain Marvel thing and the direction you're going with Spider-Man, no, 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 I don't like it. And it just it's just crazy that there's a lack of leadership and creativity. Um, and George Lucas was the best at it. You can say all you want about the prequels, but he's not doing bullshit like they are here in current Lucasfilm. And did he sell it? Yeah, but they really fucked him over. J.K. Rowling, like I mentioned earlier in yesterday's video, if you guys want to go watch that, we talk about um, the new Harry Potter details about the new movie coming out. And there's more to come. So I'm going to do another video later on and we'll talk a little bit more Harry Potter because I love talking about it. But um, bottom line is that J.K. Rowling is writing and still creating this whole world, the Wizarding world. She's still creating it. And that's what you need in Star Wars. We need a leader who's also creative. And we don't have that. We barely even have a leader in Star Wars. As soon as George threw in the towel, it was over. And it just opened up more room for mediocrity. And that's what we're getting. We're getting mediocre Star Wars. And we're getting very, very, very uncreative shit. So, so Kevin Feige Star Wars movie. Oh yeah, and I forgot. So, if there was a Mount Rushmore of movie producers, Kevin Feige would be on it. Mm, maybe. The Marvel Studios president has overseen the creation of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, an entirely new model of franchise filmmaking and the most successful franchise of all time. Now, he's taking his talents to a galaxy far, far away. As we found out in September, Kevin Feige, an avid Star Wars fan, is going to be developing a new Star Wars movie. We'll see where that goes because it clearly shows that you know, they're not doing anything else after The Rise of Skywalker, any new movies or anything. So, like I said earlier, I think they're going to be doing, um, you know, I think they're going to be just doing TV shows, but we'll see. But where are we at? So, contrary to the belief that he would be replacing Kathleen Kennedy, which he shouldn't, at Lucasfilm, Kevin Feige, in addition to being president of the Marvel Studios, is now also the chief creative officer, overseeing all of the Marvel's creative efforts. Um, I think that was a bad move by Marvel, but you know what, Marvel, you already shoot yourself in the foot enough. Keep it up. But that would be really bad for Star Wars too, because you have a guy trying to run two major franchises. And if you can't put your whole effort and your whole heart into one franchise to make it great, how can you do two? Like you can't do two at once. You can't do two things at one time and still be successful. So one franchise is going to be punished and then the other one is going to get somewhat good results, maybe. But there's no way you can do two. That's crazy. Um, Let me see. As far as we know, that hasn't changed things for a Star Wars movie. We don't know what Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie will be, what characters it will feature, or when it will take place. But we do know that he reportedly has a major actor in mind for a specific role in the film. We will see. We'll see. Um, so okay, well, I'm not going to read this. So here we go. So this is what the video mainly is about Rian Johnson or Ryan Johnston or Roundhead Johnson or Roundhead Ryan or uh the fucking man baby that this guy is. That he claims that we are all man babies, but I mean, he talks about 40-year-old white males or whatever, or 40-year-old guys that live in basements that bitch and moan. Well, hey buddy, I'm 24 and I think your shit sucks. And I mean, you can say all you want, but your shit sucks, and you're an asshole, and you can't write worth anything. You use a first draft for a movie that's supposed to make billions of dollars for the most important franchise. You can say all you want about the most successful comparing to Marvel or not. That's on you. You mean you guys can debate all you want about that, but Star Wars is the most important movie franchise ever. So you're saying you're going to be calling out people. You're going to be, you know, you're going to be rude to fans, and rude's an understatement. You're going to disrespect the cast and the original cast for that matter of Star Wars. And oh man, and you want to make a trilogy. Oh, that's so funny. And you think you're going to be allowed to make a trilogy. That's funny. And considering how much The Last Jedi bombed, did it make a lot of money? Yeah. Did it sit well with the fans? No, not at all. Um, go look at the Rotten Tomato scores, see how uneven they are. And I take Rotten Tomato, ratings and gradings with a grain of salt or grain of sand, whatever you want to say. But it goes to show. I mean, just it gives you a little bit of a taste of how people actually do feel about the shit Star Wars that we get, especially Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi. Um, so let's see. So Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy, along with the Benioff and Weiss trilogy and Kevin Feige's movie, the only other future Star Wars movies that have actually been announced is a trilogy from the writer and director of The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson, first announced before Episode 9 had even come out, or 8, I mean. Rian Johnson's trilogy is largely a mystery. We've heard that it will move past the legacy characters, which seems like a smart and necessary move, and that will explore a different corner of the galaxy. No, no, no. First of all, it's not happening. Second of all, this would have been a terrible idea. And the fact that you announced that he was going to get a new trilogy before the movie even came out was such a terrible idea. I guarantee you, people knew how bad the movie was, and yet they still gave him a trilogy. They announced he was going to get one before it came out. This is absolutely insane to me. And even before The Last Jedi came out, I saw that they were announcing that he was going to get a trilogy, and I thought, oh my God, did they really have some balls to do this? They haven't even showed the movie anywhere yet. It that's just insane to me. So Rian Johnson's trilogy could theoretically just slot into where the D&D films going to land, whatever. Can't type. However, while this trilogy has still been announced and Rian Johnson continues to affirm his plans to work on it, it has been in doubt for some time. The backlash to his Last Jedi was so pronounced that many have wondered if Lucasfilm would really bring the filmmaker back, given the vocal objections of a swath of the fan base, assuming he'd even want to return. Oh, I guarantee you he wants to return. Ooh, he wants to just fucking run this franchise into the ground. And there's a video even showing that he wants to make a movie that people hate, but also people love. Why not make it for everyone, Rian? Huh? Why not make it for everybody? Complete bullshit. And this just goes to show, and we're not going to talk about this because you know what? There's nothing new in here. But we're going to go over here to this website on epicstream.com. If this will load, my internet connection, I think, is pretty bad, but there we go. Okay, let's just exit out of that. Nope. Nope. Where are we going here? Okay. Lucasfilm has reportedly axed Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy, and this came out 2 days ago. So see this shouldn't happen because she's dead in real life, and you suck, Ray. So whatever. Last month, Star Wars fans were met with the news that Game of Thrones showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss had decided to exit their Star Wars trilogy with Lucasfilm. The news came as a surprise, and fans couldn't help but express concern over the future of the franchise. Though the Star Wars Last Jedi director Rian Johnson has confirmed that his Star Wars trilogy is still in negotiation with Lucasfilm, rumors are going around saying that the studio has decided to axe the project. Um, Bob Iger is putting it all on hiatus, apparently. I don't trust anything that he says, but if we're going to go by his word, then this means that Rian Johnson ain't getting shit. Um, so let's see. According to the new report by I don't want to watch that. According to the new report by the Lords of the Long Box channel, multiple industry insiders claim that Johnson is no longer being considered by Lucasfilm. Rumor has it that the director's proposed Star Wars trilogy at the studio is already dead at Disney. And rightfully so. The site claims that the only reason why Lucasfilm refuses to announce Johnson's exit from the franchise is that Disney is afraid to let out negative press when the release of Star Wars The Mandalorian is so near. That makes sense. Because if you cancel Rian Johnson's thing, a lot of the people that they're pandering to that, first of all, don't really buy much. They don't really buy into the franchise at all. They just pander to the jackasses that could care less, but they do it for the sake of SJWs and for the sake of being woke and for representation, which is complete bullshit. And I'll talk about that later because I go on rants all the time, so I'll just get distracted. But so honestly, and real Star Wars fans, we would watch The Mandalorian and be more excited for it if you fired Rian Johnson and told everybody and made an announcement. But since you keep it under wraps like this, I don't like sneakiness, and I don't like it when Lucasfilm is acting like a snake, and which is what they've been doing. The studio also doesn't want further controversy before the release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, which is set to premiere this December. That shouldn't affect The Rise of Skywalker because it's already made, it's already done, and it's connected to Rian Johnson, so no one wants any of that shit. Rian Johnson had a hand in that trilogy, so no one even at all wants to see it. I don't even want to see it. I'm going because I'm getting a ticket. And I'm going to drink a lot. And I'm going to wear my t-shirt that says The Last Jedi sucks. So we'll see how much feedback I get from that. Anyways, word has it that Disney is holding off official announcements about Johnson's fate until after Episode 9 screens. While the news might alarm some, we should remind readers to take the report with a grain of salt. There has been multiple rumors about Johnson exiting his trilogy over the past few months, and yet Lucasfilm has yet to confirm any of these reports. We'll just have to cross our fingers and wait and see what Lucasfilm has in store for the franchise. So, am I excited to hear about this? Yes. Does it make sense for them to axe his trilogy after Bob Iger announcing that they're taking a hiatus? It does. It makes sense. Does it mean they're going to stick with their word? Absolutely not, because they backpedal all the time. And they always do stuff they said they're not going to. And vice versa. So we'll see where this goes. We'll see if this trilogy is being, axed. And we'll see if there's any word on future movies in general for Star Wars, because like I mentioned, I think they're going to be going strictly with the TV, the streaming service. And I highly doubt they're going to make a movie anytime soon. Now, I feel like in 2 years, maybe they'll announce another movie. I think in Disney time, I think that's a long time. Not a very long time for us. But so there. Apparently Rian Johnson's trilogy is done. It's over. It's axed. So I don't think it's going to be made. I personally think they're going to let him go. And their toy sales are also a thing to look at as well if you're not familiar with what's going on with Star Wars. and how much money they lose. And if you don't know about, how popular it is now, because it's not as popular as it should be. There's not that much hype around it. And I guarantee if George Lucas was still a part of his own franchise, they would be making a lot of money. There would be a lot of buzz. There wouldn't be as much Disney bullshit. And I guarantee you that the movies would be amazing. Now, is that a bold statement? Like, maybe, because a lot of people didn't like the prequels. I like the prequels, but I trust George Lucas, though, over Disney any day. It's his story. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. But you're going to take non-creative people like Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams, who, I mean, they're Steven Spielberg fanboys. And then you're going to take an asshole like Rian Johnson and let him do a movie. No, 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 no. George Lucas is one of the most important people in Hollywood. Historically, he is one of the most important people in Hollywood. Not now, because Disney basically gave him the boot from his own company. I mean, did he sell it? Yeah, but they gave him the boot, man. And after promising that he was going to be able to collaborate, it's just there's no creativity in it, and we're lacking creativity in Hollywood, really, for the most part. There's still good movies that come out all the time, and um, I mean, a lot of the movies I saw in theaters this year were really good. What was the one movie I saw that I didn't like? Hellboy. Hellboy sucked, but overall, the movies that I saw in theaters this year, they were pretty good. Um, so yeah, I mean, Rian Johnson's done. It's over from what it looks like, and it makes complete sense for them to to just not follow through with this trilogy. And if they actually are taking a break from Star Wars, then good. Well, movies for that matter. But I guarantee you they're going to be letting Rian Johnson direct episodes of the TV shows. Guarantee it. And I know from what I heard, I guess there's going to be a list released about all the directors for each episode of The Mandalorian. And there's a lot of episodes apparently. So I how much you guys want to bet Rian Johnson directed one of the episodes? Because I think Disney doesn't really understand why Disney saw that the OT was directed by multiple people, George Lucas first, and then two other directors later, and they think that the director had most of the creative, you know, vision for these movies. Well, George Lucas was still the creator, like he just didn't direct it. But George Lucas, it's his stuff. He didn't just hand the guy the director chair and went, "All right, see you later. I'll catch you after filming." Like, so, um, yeah, that's crazy, guys. It's really crazy, and I think for whatever reason, um, for whatever reason, they're going to be taking a break from Star Wars, whether it's because of the backlash from the shitty movies we're getting, or whether it's because of money, whether it's both, you know, whether it's popularity or it's criticism from investors. Either way, they're getting rid of the Rian Johnson trilogy. Benioff and Weiss aren't in anymore, and the whole Kevin Feige movie that's up in the air. I personally don't think Kevin Feige will do a movie. I think he's got a lot going on with Marvel. I don't think they would. I don't think they would have the balls. Marvel would to let Kevin Feige go over to Star Wars. I mean, Marvel's got a good thing going, and they're gonna keep running with it. And I highly doubt they're gonna let Kevin Feige be distracted by Star Wars, because that's a risk that Marvel would take, um, in losing their lead creative. I mean, they're gonna risk their lead creative for everything. And the amount of time it would take for him to make a Star Wars movie, the planet, shoot the movie, and then post production. That's a long time for Marvel, and they're always coming out with new comics and you know new series, different issues. They're working on TV shows, they're working on movies, and they're planning for the future. So, all that time it would take for him to do a Star Wars movie and the work with Lucasfilm, that's a lot of time away from Marvel. And I know a lot of people would say, "Hey, he can do both. Why not?" Well, that he's still human. Like he's still just a dude. Like I mean, he's just like all of us. That's a lot of that's too much work, I think. That's too much on his plate. So I don't think anyone that's been listed to make a movie is going to make a movie. If anybody should make another Star Wars movie, it should be Gareth Edwards. But Gareth Edwards, um, he would want to work with George Lucas. He is the kind of guy that is humble enough to say, "Hey, I want to make a movie, but I want George to have a huge role in it because this is his product, this is his baby, and this is his craft that he made." And I was a fan of his stuff, not a fan of Disney's. So, um, but Disney probably wouldn't let George work on anything. So, I mean, that means they would have to give him more money. And the news broke out, what was it, a month or two ago, maybe, that the reason why Disney makes their shitty characters is because so George doesn't get money. Because all the original characters that he made, he gets money off of them. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens with this. But guys, if you can, please subscribe. Please hit the like button. Smash the like button. Don't just click it. Smash it. But oh man. So I'm gonna get going, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you're watching it on a replay, please don't forget to subscribe. Like I just said, please hit the bell for notifications. Hit the like button, subscribe button, like button, subscribe button. Please do it. It's awesome. It's a great idea. Also, subscribe to all the other Phantom Menace channels that are out there. You know the big name ones. You already know them. I'm sure if you're listening to my channel, you already know of the bigger channels. Also, I want you to subscribe to Raiders of the Lost Flicks, Etemple Queen is the place to be reviews, and 2 Cent Toys. Please subscribe to those guys. They're great. Every Wednesday, we do a show called The Boardroom. Every Wednesday at 8:35 p.m. Tune in every Wednesday. It's a great day, hump day, great day to tune in for good news, good entertainment, and some laughs. So, see you later, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.